What's up, Jaylene? The division test, Nakai. What, Jaylene? We'll see right now. Okay. The question says Carolina, or Carolina maybe, is using the distributive property to divide 64 by 4, which does not show a way she could break apart the dividend. Okay, this part, I want you to make sure that you write it down, either on this page, on your piece of paper, whatever it might be. Make sure you write this next part down. They're using the distributive property. Distributive means that they are going to break the big number up. I'm going to write that on my paper. Distributive means break the big number up. So sometimes people, when they do math and they have a big number, because they think that big numbers make math more difficult or tougher, they break up the big number into smaller pieces. The same way that, like when you get, let's say like a big piece of chicken or like a steak or something like that, people will usually take a fork and a knife and they'll cut it up, or like a pancake, right? The big pancakes. People normally take a fork and a knife and break it up into smaller pieces. Because if you try to eat the whole pancake, it'd be kind of tough. They do the same thing with numbers. They break up the big number to make it easier to work with. But there's one rule, one thing you have to be careful of when you break up a big number. When you break up that big number, you have to be able to put it back together. I want you to think about like a puzzle. When you have a puzzle, you have all the pieces, and if you use all the pieces, you can put it back together, right? And you end up with the same picture. You don't want to go missing any pieces. The same thing is true in the distributive property. Look at the numbers that she's using. 64 and 4. Who can tell me what's the big number that she's using? Kylie, what's the big number she's using? 64. Because 4 is kind of small, right? I don't have to break it up. 64, that's what she's going to break up. I'm going to do something to help myself. My question says which one does not show. So next to my answer choices, I'm going to put a Y for yes and an N for no. Y for yes, N for no. Y for yes, N for no. Y for yes, N for no. And I'm going to see which answer choices break 64 and they do it the right way, and which answer choices break 64 and do it the wrong way. Now, the good thing about the distributive property is whenever they break up a number for us, they kind of put it in its own little bubble. You see how they have, it's almost like it's circled with the parentheses? They have two parts. Well, look, each part has a 4, and then it's got a different number, 36 and 28. And look what they put in the middle. A plus sign. They're reminding us, you have to be able to put that number back together. Like a puzzle. If you can't put it back together, then it's no good. So we're going to put 36 together with 28. And we're going to see if we get back to our original number, our 64. We'll see if they did it correctly or not. So let's test it. 36 plus 28. 6 plus 8. Bailey, what is 6 plus 8?
$14.
Okay. I'm going to put a 4 at the bottom and carry a 1 over. 3 plus 2. Violet, what is 3 plus 2? 5. Okay, but I also carried over an extra 1. So Violet, what's 5 plus an extra 1? 6. Hey, look at that. 64. So did they go back to what they were in the beginning? Did I get that number back? Was it? Yeah, I got my number back. So yes, that one works. Now we're going to check the next one. And they did the same thing. Here's one part. Here's the second part. And in the middle, a plus sign. Again, they have 4 and 4, but 4 is my small number. They also have 44 and 20. So let's try putting those together. 44 plus 20. 44 plus 20. Chase, what is 4 plus 0? 4. Okay? Sebastian, what is 4 plus 2? 'What would I get, Sebastian, if I added 4 plus 2? I think Sebastian needs some help. Who can help him out? What is 4 plus 2? Nakai, can you help him out? No, I couldn't hear you, Nakai. Try putting it in the chat. 4 plus 2 is what? 4 plus 2. What is it, Nakai? 6. Look at that. 64 again. I got my number back, which means that, yes, that works. They did it correctly. We're going to check the next one. Again, 2 pieces. Again, we're adding. And they give me 2 different pieces. 30 plus 44. Kylie, what's 0 plus 4? 4. Messiah, what's 3 plus 7?
10.
Not 10. Check it again. 3 plus 7. Or sorry, 3 plus 4. Sorry, I gave you the wrong numbers. What's 3 plus 4?
6.
Not 6. 3 plus 4.
7.
7. There we go. 74. Is that the number that I wanted? Is that the number I started with? Kylie? No. So this one? No. They didn't do it correctly. I end up with too much. The last one also has 2 pieces. It also has a plus sign. 60 plus 4. Ezekiel, what's 0 plus 4? What would I get, Ezekiel? 0 plus 4. 4. Awesome. Okay. And then 6, I'm not adding anything to it. I didn't carry anything over, so it's just a 6. Ezekiel, is this the number that I wanted? Yeah, look at what I started with. 64. They got 64 here. So yeah, that's the one I wanted. It's the one I needed. So there's only one answer choice that didn't give me back my number. That gave me back a different number. What's the answer choice that gave me back a different number? Jaylene?
H.
Answer choice H. For that last question, is there anything that we're confused about, we don't know, or it doesn't make sense to us, anything like that? Jaylene? What do you mean the place value? For question 4 or question 3?
3.
Oh, okay. So, base 10 blocks are just a way to show numbers, but to show them with pictures. Okay? They use little squares to show us numbers. Your little squares, the ones that are by themselves, that's your ones place. The squares that are stacked up in a line, those are your tens place. And I know that because look what happens when I count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if I count the next one, there's 10. The next one has 10. The next one has 10. 10 and 10. So these are just in a group of 10. That's why it's a tens place. And the last one, if I took the time and counted all of the little squares, I'd get 100. So that's your hundreds place. So they gave me one block. That's 100. They gave me 6 stacks. That's 6 tens. And they gave me 4 boxes. That's 4 ones. Okay? Look at that first box. We had 100, right? So, Jaylene, if I've got one piece and I've got 4 groups, can I give that one piece to any of my groups? No. So I gave away 0 pieces to my groups. That's where the 0 comes from. Because I couldn't give away any pieces because it wouldn't be fair, would it? Do you have another question or is that it?
That.
Okay. Jadine,
No.
no problem. Jadine, what's your question? The answer is always the number they start with. So I had 64 and 4, right? Remember, distributive means to break up the big number. 4 is not a big number. 4 they can do on their own, but 64 is bigger. Yeah. So that's the number that they're breaking up. They're breaking it like into pieces. I need to be able to put that number back together again. So I should be able to get my pieces, put them together, and have the number again. If I don't, if I end up with a number that's either too small or way too big, that's not correct. So when we check them, look at they give us a clue. In the middle they kept putting plus, 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 plus. Yeah, so we know, oh, I just need to add my parts back together. Add these two, add these two, add these two, and add these two. And that's what we did, right? We added them all. 3 of them, the answer was 64. So I got back my number. But one of them, when I added it back, I got 74. Anyone else? Any other questions or anything else that you're confused about, you don't understand, or you need help with? No, are we all good? Everybody's fine? They understand?
Yes.
Okay.